Good morning to you. I'm glad you're here. We have in our readings this morning a lot of different ideas around what seems to be hospitality. We start out with Naaman coming and finding himself in a difficult situation where he's a big deal, and this prophet won't come out and greet him personally. And he's offended by that. And so he doesn't want to do the simple thing that Elisha tells him to do, just to go wash himself in the Jordan 7 times. He's like, well, we have rivers in Damascus. And it's his servants who approach him. It was a servant who approached his wife in the first place, who told him about Elisha and told him that there was a prophet who could heal him in Israel. Naaman's servants come to him again, saying, Father, if he'd asked you to do something hard, you'd have done it, right? How much more since he asks you just to go wash yourself and be clean? And so he does it. We don't know exactly what caused the change of heart, if it was the servants that got through to him, if the sting of his pride went away with some distance. Whatever the reason, he finally listens and finds himself healed. We hear again of this idea of hospitality in a different way in our gospel this morning. As we hear about the 70 that were sent out, they're sent out with this idea of receiving the hospitality of those who would receive them, of eating what is placed before them. Essentially, they can't take enough with them to make it on their own. So they need to put that away, not even take it with them, assuming that they can do this without help. And coming into these towns, they find the hospitality of strangers that welcome them. If they don't welcome them, the idea is, well, you don't need to judge them, just shake off the dust from your feet and move on. Don't take it with you. How often do we struggle with these same things? Doing a simple thing because it's what we need to do to be healthy. Finding ourselves not carrying the baggage of a difficult day with us when we come home or go to bed or get up the next day. So often we find ourselves struggling. And we hear in Paul's letter to the Galatians this encouragement not to focus on these selfish ideas that we are the center of the world and deserve honor and deserve all of these great things and deserve to be received in peace and love, but to focus outwardly. Being called as Christ's hands and heart in our world doesn't mean that we're going to be received with joy and love wherever we go. It means that wherever we go, we take God's peace with us. It means that wherever we go, we seek and serve Christ in those we meet, loving our neighbors as the strangers we encounter, just as we love the neighbors we already know and love. I think the hospitality moments in this morning's readings really jump out at me because of Anthony's experiences in Germany right now. For those of you who don't know, my middle son, Anthony, is on the autism spectrum. He struggles with anxiety. He struggles with social situations. He struggles with learning languages. And yet he decided he wanted to go on a trip to Germany with his class. So he studied German for 2 years, did all of the right things to be able to go on this trip, and now he's there, finding himself in the midst of strange people and strange foods, in a strange culture, and sometimes not finding himself being his best. I got a text from him this morning at about 3:39 a.m. saying, Pop, you up? It's like maybe 11:30 there, but it's the middle of the night here. The family had taken him to visit his host sibling's grandmother. So his host family, the student Giannis came and visited us in September. And now Anthony is staying with Giannis and his family. And they went to visit Giannis's grandmother. And here he is in this house full of people only speaking German, with foods that he's very unfamiliar with. And he forgot his medications for the past couple days. Those help him to regulate and to deal with increased anxiety. He also hasn't been eating much because the food is unfamiliar. So he is really not his best self. And so there in the midst of these strangers, he put on his headphones and just checked out. And then he went home and took a nap. And by then, Jane and I were awake, and we were able to talk him down a little bit and say, this isn't the end of the world. Yes, when we're invited into someone's home, we're supposed to eat what we're given. We're supposed to encounter the new cultures and peoples without judgment. But we're also human. And sometimes we're not at our best. If we're not rested, if we're not well fed, if we've forgotten our meds. The reality is that at any given moment when we encounter someone in the world, they could be in any state. I try to remind myself of this when I'm stuck in traffic. I may be having a great day, but maybe they just lost their wife, or maybe they just got fired, or maybe they just had a really hard day, and they can't be their best selves in that moment. Being willing to live our lives as humans means accepting that sometimes we are not our best selves, and sometimes others are not their best selves. Unfortunately, when we clash, it's when both parties are not having their best day. Thankfully for Anthony, his host family is having a good day. And they forgive, and they won't hold it against him. And they know that he has autism, and they know that he's going to struggle, and they've been showing him a great time. He sent about 100 pictures from this medieval museum with all the swords and armor, and he's been having a good time. The reality of living in our world means that we get to live as Christ's hands and heart, whether we're having a good day or a bad day. At our best, sometimes all we can do is shake the dust off our feet and try not to carry it with us. At our worst, we don't. We carry it with us because it hurts. And then we have to seek to find that healing space. Like Naaman, we need to find that distance, to put our pride away, to focus on the simple things that we know will nourish us and help us to be whole and help us to thrive in a difficult world. In a world where there are floods, in a world where there are difficult things going on in many places, in a world where not everyone is treated as equal, we get to be that voice of love that sees people, that seeks to serve, that seeks to lift up and to draw in, to clothe and to feed, to acknowledge, and to find the compassion and grace to offer blessing in the midst of chaos, even our own. So these aren't easy readings. It's not easy being human all the time. But we hope that at the end of, maybe not even every day, but at the end of a week, we may find ourselves with enough moments of compassion and grace that we can acknowledge the goodness that surrounds us. Because this is an amazing world. We look out and see mountains and trees. We enjoy sunshine and afternoon thunderstorms. And we get to come together in this place to be reminded of who we are and whose we are. We come back to this place to find nourishment in each other's company, to find ourselves lifted up when we are having a hard week, and to find celebration when we've had a good one. May we find ourselves blessed enough to acknowledge it, blessed enough to recognize it each day, blessed enough to share it with others. Our faith nourishes us no matter what state we're in. Amen.